All right. Happy Wednesday. It's funny. This morning I was not sure what day it was. And I go, oh, wait a minute. It's Wednesday. We got to do a coffee talk. So here we are. It's a Wednesday morning here. And it is December 9th, heading towards the new year. Crazy. Isn't it crazy that we're heading towards 2021? Man, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about 2021. There's a lot to be excited about. And I know that we're in a pandemic and the world has just been crazy this year. But hey, that was then. This is now. Let's go ahead and move forward, right? 2021 is going to be an amazing year. Can't wait. All right, today I am going to share with you something that I think is extremely important. And sometimes we don't trust it. We don't trust that thing that we have, that we all have, and we don't use it all the time. And that is our gut, our intuition. Like, we do need to listen to that. Now, sometimes we're getting false signals. Sometimes we're getting the gut check, and maybe we're thinking of it because, well, we're scared, or maybe because we want an excuse to not do it, or we want something to not work out because that means more work for us, like whatever, right? Like, we can self-sabotage ourselves all day long. But today what we're going to talk about is that gut and like how to really listen to it. I'm going to share with you a recent example. Literally happened, this morning officially, but it happened last week when we were getting ready to, and actually we started to, use a certain company to help us out with some stuff inside Brand Creators. I'm going to share with you how I was feeling something, but I didn't know. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a shot. Gave it a shot, but then immediately realized probably long-term is not going to be the best fit for both parties. And it's really important that you recognize those things early. Now, you're not always going to be able to recognize that it's not going to work until you start something. But sometimes you just have that gut check. Sometimes you just have that thing and you're like, I'm just not feeling right about this, or there's something that's just not feeling, but I probably should do it. But I don't want to let them down. But there's something in your gut that's telling you probably shouldn't do it, right? Has anyone ever felt like that? So I'm curious, any of you that are here live, or if you're watching this on the replay, have you ever had a gut check and after the fact you go, I should have listened to my gut because I had something that was telling me it probably isn't going to be the right fit, or this is probably not going to be the best thing for myself? Has anyone other than me had that experience? So let's talk about that. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today on the Coffee Talk. I am going to try to keep this to 20 to 30 minutes. I'm actually going to be heading up to the lake house this morning. We're actually going up there for the weekend, and I'm going up there to get a list of things that need to be repaired since we had an amazing season. That was one of the things in my gut that I wasn't sure, but I trusted my gut, and man, oh man, I'm glad I did, because it's been one of the best investments I've ever made. Wasn't easy. I gut checked it a lot throughout the whole process. And there was a lot of like, oh my gosh, should we be doing this? Should we be doing this? Why are we doing this? And, yeah, it worked out pretty well. I mean, hey, you never know what the future holds for it, but last year did really well. So now we're going to go up there this morning. Actually, I'm going to go up there by myself, and we're going to just kind of go through and check things over. I already know a few things on my list that I know that have to get addressed. So I'm just going to kind of make a list of things that got to get done, and then we're going to get them done. But we're also going to go up there and spend some time there this weekend for my daughter's 13th birthday, which is pretty exciting. So what's up, Octavio? Octavio's in the house. What's up? Happy hump day. Brand Rockers, beautiful in LA today. Justin says many times. Yeah, on that gut check. Yeah, it happens. Good morning, Karen. Glad to have you back in the groove. That's awesome. It's always good. I love the emojis too, by the way. Intuition is strong. It's happened to me. Yes. And the thing that I want to talk about though today is, there's something that, you go off of feel, right? You go off of a feeling, but there's also things that you have to look at and go, is this a feeling that I'm getting because I'm afraid? Or is it because the facts or the data is telling me it's either too good to be true, right? Or, man, I don't know that, like, I want this to work, but I don't know if it's going to because there's these things over here that are telling me that it probably won't. Why am I still wanting to do it? So we have to ask ourselves those things. What's up, Kate? Good morning. We're talking about giving yourself a gut check and how to trust your intuition and really, when should you? So that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to share an example with you guys as well, that something that literally happened. And it's not easy, by the way. It's not easy to course correct sometimes. And today I had to course correct. And with doing that, I actually had to write an email that was not easy to write because it was an email telling someone that I don't think this relationship's going to work. We're going to basically terminate our working relationship and we're going to move on. We're going to part ways. And that was just after like a week of working together. Nothing, like that person is, great at what they do. It's just not the right fit, right? So you have to understand that sometimes. What's up, Salma? Good morning. So Salma, if you're just joining us, we're going to be talking about how to trust your gut so you can avoid wasting time or also taking advantage of opportunities when you can trust that gut. So that's what we're going to be doing. So would love you guys to drop it in there. If there's something that comes to mind, drop it in the comments. Let me know. And by the way, Friday, we're going to be doing a jam session. This Friday is going to be a little bit crazy for me too. I'll just be honest. Again, I'm going to be back and forth to the lake house this week. I'm going there today, tomorrow, and then Friday we're going up there in the evening. Friday, we have a Brand Creators Academy call. We moved our call from Thursday to Friday. So Friday's going to be a busy day for me. But the jam session is going to happen at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I've already got the topic that we're going to talk about here. So I'll give you guys that now. And that is going to be, I created my digital product. Now what? Right? Because I actually did it was a call yesterday I did with one of our Brand Creators Academy members, Matt. And he has his digital product. He launched it, did amazing with it. That's going to air on the podcast. And it's going to be a hot seat in our Brand Creators Academy. But he's got his product created. And then that was the question we were addressing yesterday was like, okay, I got my product created now. I did my initial launch. Now what? Now what do I do? Right? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dig into that. And I've got 3 areas that we're going to focus on now that we have that digital product, ready and available for sale. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Friday. So make sure you're here Friday for the jam session. If you have any questions on that topic or any other topic, that will be the time to do it. And we will be jamming here on Friday. All right, guys. So today, how to trust your gut, avoid wasting time in your business. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to know when and how to trust your gut? Anyone? Are you guys interested in that? If you're watching this, if you're watching this in the replay, if you're watching this live, let me know. Is that interesting to you? And also, I'm going to take a sip of coffee because this is Coffee Talk. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if anybody's saying it. Gut feeling and intuition is divine guidance. Love it. Oh no, is Chris leaving? No, Chris isn't leaving. That's funny. I'm gonna have to message Chris and let him know that someone had thought that, or Alejandro was thinking that Chris was leaving. No, Chris is not going anywhere. I can't get rid of him. You kidding me? I couldn't get rid of him if I tried. No, Chris is not going anywhere. We got a lot of cool things planned for 2021. We were actually just talking yesterday. Hopefully this whole, pandemic thing gets, past us and possibly doing something in person at some point in 2021. So we're talking about that. We're talking about that. Maybe even a lake house little retreat. Okay, so let's dig in here, guys. Like I said, I gotta keep this kind of short today, but I do want to dig in and I want to answer any questions that you have as well. And I want to help you if you have anything that you are gut checking right now. All right, so here's the recent example. Let me give you, well, actually, let me go back. I'll give you that last. I'll make you wait for that. All right. And it will kind of tie it all together. All right. So the very first thing that I want you to ask yourself, if you're just doubting your decision, right? Or if you're thinking to yourself, like, I don't know, and there's a lot of different things we could be gut checking, but let's just say that you're starting your business and you're just not sure if the niche is the right niche. right? There's ways for us to validate, to get confirmation before we actually do it. So when you start having the data or the facts, then really the only gut check you would have is, can I fulfill what needs to happen to make this happen, right? And so that's a different gut feel. Now, what I would say in that situation, and if you are having some doubts, because it's really about doubts. It's like, are you doubting something? So if you're doubting something, and I don't care what it is, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you have a good or bad feeling about X, fill in the blanks? And then from there, ask yourself why. What is giving you the doubt? Okay. So do you have a good or bad feeling about starting your website? And you're like, kinda. Okay. Let's dig into that. Let's unpack that a little bit. Why? Why are you doubting it? Then we can go and we can dig deeper, right? Then you might be like, well, I don't know if there's enough traffic there. Okay. Then we got to validate that piece. So that way there we can confirm that, right? Or maybe it's, I've been posting for the last 3 months and I'm starting to see some traffic, but I'm just not sure if this is the right direction that I should be going. Okay. Why are you having that feeling? Because I've posted stuff consistently for, every single week for the last 3 months, and I'm just starting to see a trickle in traffic. Well, that's where if you had a group of people, you would ask that question and then you would say, hey, is this normal? Should I be worried about this? Should I be doubting this process? And you'd have people say, no, it takes 3 to 6 months, sometimes longer, to start getting organic traffic, right? And then you'd be like, oh, good. Okay. So that gut check wasn't really a gut check on my intuition. It was more of, I just doubted the process. Okay. So there's different things that we're doing there. Now, here's another thing that you could create or you could have a gut check on. Let's say you're going to hire a writer and you go out and you find a writer, you find 3 writers and you find one that you're like, man, every box is checked. Like, they're good at what they do. Their testimonials were good that I've read. They've given me maybe a sample article and it looks really good. But I did notice that it took them longer to get back to me than I'd like. And you're like, is this person going to be responsible? Are they going to leave me hanging? Right. So that's where those gut check things come in, because now you're starting to get signals, right? You're starting to get signals because you've probably already started that process. Usually when we're having this gut feel, it's not about maybe even an idea. Sometimes it can be, but it's more about once you start getting these vibes, right? You start getting these vibes from either people you're working with. A lot of times it's people you're working with, or it's just vibes of, is this a shiny object? Is this a silver bullet? Am I looking for a lottery ticket here? Or am I looking at something that I know is boring and non-sexy, but I know just from track records of other people that it's worked? An example is stocks, right? I've been looking at like dividend stocks lately and they're boring as heck, right? Like you're talking like ExxonMobil, you're talking, McDonald's, or you know what I mean? Like all of these stocks that have been out there for a long time, but they've been consistent for the past 50 years, but they're boring, right? But the track record says that they're doing well and they're going to keep doing well. Now you look at something like a tech company that they're projected to do something. That's a gut thing, right? You're like, oh man, I'm taking a risk here. It's a gamble. So we look at that gut check a lot of times as what facts are there in place that I could feel more confident moving forward, right? So that's what we need to do when we're looking at like if there's something that we're doubting, okay? Now, what I'd like to do is, if you guys are willing, is there something right now that you're doubting or that you are not quite sure and you're having this pull a little bit in your gut about, I don't know if I should do that? Is there anything right now that comes to mind? And I'm doing this because I want to have a real example too that we can unpack maybe. But I want you to, even if you don't share that, I want you to feel that, because as you're feeling it, that's when you need to start asking yourself those questions. And the great thing is Chris Schaefer is great at this, by the way. And that's exactly what he did to me this past week when we were going back and forth with this situation, which I'll share with you here in a minute. But it was a gut check. It was my intuition, but then I was looking at, yeah, but this looks like could be a good fit, but I don't know. Then we started getting, kind of like responses that allowed us to see that maybe it's not going to work. And then his thing to me was, listen, if in the short term this worked, but in the long term it didn't, and you had to, have this constant tug and pull, would you be okay with that? And the answer is no. And it's like, well, then stop going down this road and let's just rip the Band-Aid off now and let's start figuring out what is going to be the right fit. All right. Which I'll get into that here in a minute. So guys, let me know that in the comments. So I've got some other notes here. All right. So the thing is, when you're doubting yourself, that other question that you can ask yourself is, have you done the research to show you the potential? So if you're looking at a shiny object, a lot of times it's a quick silver bullet, right? It's like, oh man, look at that. We can do that and it'll be fast, right? Everything's about fast, right? Can I do this thing and it's going to get me results fast? It's always about speed. What's going to shortcut things, right? Whenever we're looking at shortcuts, usually don't last. And that's where the gut check comes in. You're like, is this just a quick get rich quick thing? Is this just a hack? Is this something that's I'll tell you another thing. It's very tempting to go to some of these services when you're creating content and you want to get it ranked higher. It's very, very tempting to go to a backlinking company that you can buy basically articles on other people's blogs and then get a link pointed over. It's very tempting. What holds me off from doing that is I know that can come back to bite me. And so is it tempting? Yes. Is my gut telling me it's probably not the right thing to do because it's a shortcut and I can get in trouble, not in trouble, but my site could lose ranking. Or if I go to sell it, they're going to look at those as negative links and that's going to affect my sale. Yes. So the gut check there is, it's tempting. It would be maybe just a few. Maybe I'll just do a few, right? And then you're like, no, keep it clean, right? It's tempting to take the shortcuts. So that's where you got to do that gut check. And you also got to ask yourself, what is the long-term plan, right? What is the long-term plan? We could roll our dice on a stock right now that we think, kind of like day trading, that's going to increase in a percentage over the next 3 months. And I could put $10,000 on it and hope that it goes up by 50 cents a share and I'm going to make money on that buy. But that's a risk. And we know that that's probably not going to be the case. So the gut check is, I'd rather go for the 4 or 5% yield on a stock that's been doing that for the last 30, 40 years, right? It's long, it's boring, it's proven, right? But it's not sexy, okay? So, so the other one here is, I have down here some notes. You can decrease doubt by validating your idea or potential if you take action. So sometimes we have to actually do the thing. And then once we do it, then we get feedback, we get data, and then we can decide, does this feel good? Does this not feel good? And now I'm looking at data. I'm not just looking at my gut, right? And then I have to make that decision. Does this feel good? Does this feel not so good? Okay. But you won't know until you actually put it in action. This is exactly what just happened to us. And we identified it a week in. And then as soon as we identified it, we course corrected. Okay. And what sucks about that though, is I'm losing time, right? I could have been a week ahead if I went with a different company, but I decided to go with this other company because I felt it was the right fit. But once I got going, found out that it's probably not going to be the right fit. And now I lost time. But am I going to save time if I just would have dragged that out? Yes, because I figured it out early enough and I'm trusting my gut. Okay. Okay. A lot of times too, like I said, if you take action, you're going to get early signs. Then we can react to those early signs. Okay. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. So if you are having a negative feeling, you got to ask yourself questions. And you got to ask yourself the first question is, why am I feeling negative about this? Why? Right? And I can't answer that for you, but that's the question that you would ask yourself. I just asked myself this question. Why am I not feeling good about this process so far? Okay. And the bottom line is you got to trust your gut. In the end, whenever I look back, trusting my gut on that lake house, that was a gut check. Oh my gosh, should I do this? I'm outlaying a lot of money. I'm leveraging money. And I'm hoping and praying that what this person is telling me, my manager of the property, that he manages like 15, 20 properties, I'm hoping that he's going to deliver on his promise, but he's got a track record because he's got 10 other houses that he's already done it. And he showed me the proof. You know what? I'm trusting my gut on this. This guy knows what he's doing. He's done it before. He's very well organized. He's got it dialed in. I'm going to roll the dice. Trust my gut. I trusted my gut, paid off. That was a gut check. Now, during the 4 or 5 months that we were remodeling and dumping money into the property, no money's coming back, man, I'm gut checking every day. I'm telling my wife, like, what did we do? Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be worth it. I'm just not sure. We wrote it out and we wrote it out. And nothing along that process was bad enough for us to go, you know what, let's course correct and bail. There was nothing on that. Now, here's a gut check. This just came to mind. We had a gut check when we were moving here in South Carolina. We had a house that we were building. We picked out the lot. We started building. We put a down payment. The thing was just about done. I think it had maybe like another month's worth of work on it, all the finishing. And we had my former business partner who was on the podcast, Debbie, and she would go and check the house out for us while we were in New York. And she would go there during the day, and there was a dog barking, and there was just, the houses were starting to seem closer than we had hoped. And we're standing there as we flew in, and we actually were standing there, and I'm just like, I'm looking at the house. My wife's looking at the house, and she goes, "Are you feeling not so good about this?" And I go, "I'm not." And we're like looking at a house that we have a down payment on that we committed to. How do we get out of this? Because this does not feel right. Luckily, the company that we were building through, they had a thing in there that, if you do not sell your house, because we had a contingency there, if we didn't sell our house in New York by a certain date, we could get out of that contract. Well, we didn't sell our house yet, so we were able to get out of that contract, and we ended up buying the house that we're in right now. And this was a gut check that ended up working out. Now, it would have been a beautiful home. It would have been a nice neighborhood. It wouldn't have been the same though. This neighborhood's way different. We're on a golf course here. We've got golf carts that are driving around here like just commonplace. There it was a little bit more uppity. It was a little more stiff, if you want to call it that. We made the right choice, but it was a gut check. But we didn't know it until we started building, right? So sometimes that's how it happens. Okay, I'm going to share with you what happened, and I'm going to tell you exactly what we did. But let me go ahead and see what we got here in the comments, and I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Alejandro, is Scott talking about energy? Nice. Woohoo. Comes to rock your brand. I'm in. Let's see here. The spidey senses. Always trust your gut. Karen, my whole business. How much time do I give to it to be successful? Am I on the right path? Do I need to pivot? Spending lots of money, little return, want to put together a plan for 2021. Yes. And Karen, that comes down to, I know that that in your niche, you can be successful. It comes down to, number one, patience, persistence, and then also sometimes you have to course correct within your niche. And I think you have the opportunity to really help teachers, because I know that's your market, to help teachers or parents. It's just, we have to get really focused on who we are serving. And then we have to put offers to those people, multiple offers to those people. And I think that's the answer. And I think it's consistently putting out the content. The content will start to pay off in the future. That I know for sure. And consistently emailing like you are, but again, trying to get more focused on who you're serving, I think would benefit you. Kate, I have twin boys, seniors in high school. One of them is playing with the idea of running Facebook ads for businesses to get them 5 to 10 leads a week. He actually started last week, and I already had a client meeting who hired him for $70 to do a 2-week trial, potentially earning him $1,500 a month. He asked me to help him with landing pages. My gut feeling is OMG. What a cool idea. But I need to stay focused on my blog. Just thought I would share. Yes. And here's the deal. That's amazing, by the way. And you know what? I would tell anyone, if anyone has any interest in Facebook ads, I'm telling you right now, yes, that is a great market to get into if you can help serve clients. And I wouldn't want to have a big agency, but to have a handful of clients that are paying you $1,500 or $3,000 a month to help you get a result, game over, right? Now there isn't going to be, it's not going to all be smooth sailing, but it's a great opportunity. That's awesome, by the way. But for you, Kate, you do need to stay focused. Now, does that mean you can't help them with a landing page? Because you've learned that skill. You've learned a skill. Why not take advantage of that skill, right? And use it again, right? So help him build that landing page for him. Then he's going to be able to help you with your Facebook ads. See, we could trade it off. And I think anyone that has any family that is interested in doing any of this stuff, definitely teach him some of those skills and then offload it and pay them an hourly rate if you want to. So I think that's an awesome thing that you have going there, Kate. Okay, so Kate says, I had a gut check that I need to get my act together, drop some weight, get healthy. Literally dreamed about this last night. COVID times could be a great opportunity to do just that. I have been cooking awesome meals for my family and they are loving it, but I'm feeling it around the waist. Yeah, it is tough. We have our my daughter and my son-in-law and my new grandbaby coming to visit us. And whenever they come, it's kind of tough because you start to go off the rails a little bit. And it's okay to go off the rails a little bit, but you also need to stay the course, and it's hard. But my thing is even if you went off the rails a little bit, if you can at least have your rituals or your routines. So even though they're going to be here and we might have pizza one night, I'm still going to have my celery juice in the morning. I'm still going to have my Shakeology shake with my protein that I have every single day. I'm still going to have my lunch that consists of usually an egg and some avocado and some flourless bread. Like that is all going to stay the same. I may have a cheat dinner. Okay. And it's okay. But what people don't realize, if you just cut out that other stuff and only do the one thing, you're going to be ahead of the game. And then I would just say getting into that consistent routine of exercising. And even if that's, don't think about going to the gym. Don't think about any of that stuff right now. Just give yourself 20 minutes, 30 minutes of a walk every single day, or try to hit your 10,000 steps. That's what I would do. But Kate, you can do it. Okay. You can do it. I know you can. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and share this, and then I got to wrap up because I got to hit the road here shortly. And yeah, we got to go ahead and head to the lake house. So I'm gonna share my story here. So you guys know I have Brand Creators Academy, which is it's really our main focus. Which, by the way, if you're interested in joining us, if you're not yet a member and you want to, you can apply over at brandcreatorsacademy.com. I had to think of the link there. I don't know. Did I create a banner for that yet? I think I did. Hey, there we did. Look at that. So yeah, for our private community, if you just go to brandcreatorsacademy.com, you can apply. And if you apply there, we are usually looking at the applications once a week, and then we'll be reaching out to people individually and letting them know if it's a right fit or not. But we have that, right? We have the academy. Then we have the digital product creation fast track workshop, and we have the email list building fast track workshop. We also are going to be doing a content creation fast track workshop, and we'll be doing a niche validation fast track workshop. But right now we have those two. Those two are to help people in certain areas of their business. What we want to do now that we've created the products, we want to start driving paid ads to these products. So I read a book recently called Not How, Who. And I think that's the title. And it's by, gosh, I know his name. Dan Sullivan, strategic coach. It's a great book. And so one of the bottlenecks for me is I don't want to do Facebook ads. I don't want Chris to do Facebook ads, although he can, and he's very good at it. But I want someone to do my ads, and I'm willing to pay for it because I have an offer that I know converts because I've already tested it. And now I want to run ads. So I'm like, you know what? We're just going to hire someone to do it. So I had found a company that I was really excited about. They had everything mapped out. They had already done the same type of offers for other people. I'm like, yes, they're showing me case studies. They're showing me the proof. And they're also showing me that they're very responsive. They're really good at what they do. In the meantime, before I met these people, I'd also was introduced to another guy that runs ads very, very successfully for a friend of mine. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just, listen. And so I did. And now the difference is this is a person, right? They're a business, but it's a person running ads. And then over here, we have an agency in a sense that's running ads that everything is kind of dialed in. And so my gut was telling me, go with the agency because they have a pipeline, they have a process about the same price, right? And I'm like, I probably should just go with them. But I'm like, you know what? I'd really like to have just an individual doing it because I feel if I have an individual, they're only focusing on my stuff for the most part, I'll probably get better results. Well, long story short is they are really good at what they do. And they've done like a lot of ads for some really successful people. But on the creative side, I would have to do more work, right? I would have to supply more of the creative. I'd have to do more of coming up with the angles. I'd have to do more of that. I don't want to do that. So I want someone that's going to really just do the research for me. I mean, I'll do the work, but you got to tell me, right? Go survey your market and ask them these questions, and then we're going to write copy that's going to address these concerns, right? We need you to shoot a video talking about this angle. We need you to cover these things. We need you to keep it under 2 minutes. Shoot the video, right? I need that level of hands-on. And once we got started, I was seeing that I was not going to get that. And so a week in, I said to Chris, I'm like, I don't think this is the right fit. But now I feel like I committed over here and I don't want to waste time and I don't want to waste their time if this is not going to be a long-term relationship. So I ended up drafting an email, sent it to Chris. He gave me the yes, that sounds great. And I 100%, in line with that. And we sent the email out. I contacted that other company and now we're in, talks of working together. So I'm sharing with you guys this and being transparent because I want you to understand that sometimes it takes getting started before you realize, but once you realize, you got to gut check it. You got to gut check and say, hey, this isn't feeling right. I need to act on this. And I am probably one of the most impatient people you will ever meet. And I think it's because I was raised in New York, not the city, but just in New York a lot faster, right? Even though my father grew up on a farm, my father was a farmer, we lived a pretty relaxed life in a sense, but I've always been high strung. I want results yesterday, right? I don't like waiting around. So when I do blog content, it's hard for me because I put something out there and then it takes a little while for it to get going. But now that you get it going, I can look and go, oh, 6 months ago, I posted that. Now I'm getting results. I'm okay with that because I'm still seeing a result. I'm result driven. And until I actually, got started, I didn't realize that wasn't going to be a good fit. But I still, in my head, I'm like, man, I wasted a week or two that I could have already been started in the direction that I really wanted to head. But I wouldn't have known it. So I'm not going to kick myself, but I'm going to recognize it early enough and just call it out, be upfront, be honest with the person, myself, and let's just move on. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So again, I'm just sharing that with you guys to hopefully give you some insight, but also know that it happens and you just need to recognize it. And then you need to ask yourself the question. Because I asked myself that question before I was even going to do this. Are you going to be happy 30 days from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now? Are you going to be happy with what is going to be your role in this process? And the answer was no. So there it is. There's the answer, and then I have to ask myself, what do I want? I want to have someone that handles that. They drive it. They come up with the ideas. They do the market research. They do the drilling down into the, the targeting. They go ahead and set up all the campaigns. They go ahead and write the copy in my voice, but they're going to do it all. And I'm going to give my input. That's all I want. I want like a strategic partner in a sense, right? That's going to do that side of it. And I know that I can help way more people. I know I can grow, my audience significantly higher. I've got all the other pieces there. I enjoy doing that. I don't enjoy doing the Facebook ad stuff, but I know it's important. Okay. So guys, any questions on that before we wrap up? Because I said I was going to keep this short and I just went a little bit longer than I wanted to. Let's see here. Okay. Again, I had a gut check that I need to get my act together. Oh, you already said that. Okay. I already seen that. Enjoy your time. Oh, thank you, Salma. Okay, cool. Would you recommend doing your ads in the beginning before hiring it out? Yes, I would. And we've done it up to this point pretty much by ourselves, right? Chris Schaefer has been the one running our ads for the most part. We had an agency once actually 2 agencies, when we were doing a lot of webinars and stuff. And then we've stopped doing them. And then Chris really took it over. And then it got to the point where I was like, Chris, you shouldn't be doing this, even though you can. There's other things that we need you to be doing. And one of them is, in which he has been, but he's been doing them both, is we need you in there supporting Brand Creators Academy as much as possible, as I do as well, right? So that's where we need our time. Our time should not be spent over here turning dials and, trimming campaigns and stuff. So in the beginning, yes. And we've done it. And I've done a lot of stuff myself up until I could afford to hire someone. But in the beginning, yes, I believe you should do your own, because I think it could be very simple. I actually just did a hot seat call yesterday with Matt from our academy. He's running his own ads. He's crushing it, by the way, right now. Octavio's running his own ads, crushing it. A lot of our members are. Ken Wilson in there is running ads. So yes, I think you should do your ads in the beginning. I think you're going to learn from doing them. And then from there, you can always hire it out. But in the beginning, yes, you will want to do your own ads. And how did I find the agency? A Facebook ad. They targeted me. That's how. And then they just kept following me around. So it works, guys. And then I got on a call, did a consultation call. I really liked what they had to say. I was this close to signing, and then but I had already started talking to the person that was referred to me by a friend. And again, there's nothing wrong with that person. That person does a really good job at what they do for the right client. I wasn't the right client. I need more hands-on. I need more creative direction. Okay. And that's why it didn't work. But yeah, that's how they targeted me on Facebook. So it works. All right. So guys, that's going to wrap up this coffee talk. I want you guys to just think about that. And I want you to think about, is there anything that you're doubting in your business, or is there anything doubting or feeling not right, or if you're moving in the right direction? And if that's the case, just do that gut check. Just ask yourself that question. Why am I feeling this way? And then you have that one answer, right? And then that answer, you could say, why am I feeling this about that? Right? And then you can start to get those answers that you need in order to say, is this a true gut check, or is it just I need to do more research, or I need to validate further? And that's where you can kind of find the answers to that gut check. All right. But sometimes it is just the gut, and we got to listen to that. And we gotta know that our body, our soul is telling us something sometimes. And you can't really describe why or how, but sometimes you got to trust it. But you do have to ask yourself those questions, because sometimes it's self-sabotage sneaking in, going like, yeah, you shouldn't do that because you tried something else before and it didn't work. So it's not going to work this time either. So don't do it. And then you got the other, one on your other shoulder going like, yeah, but you should. It's a pretty good opportunity. And, think about if it does work, this is what can happen. And then you're like, yeah, I know, I want to do it. But then that other person comes up and says, nah, don't do it because, you tried it once before and it didn't work. So you just don't want to get through that head struggle, but you also do want to try to weigh it out with facts and data. And sometimes it takes doing it before you actually can recognize that. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap up this coffee talk. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do this. I'm like, I don't know if people really care about a gut check, but I think you do. I think you need it. I think we all do. And I wanted to share that recent one with you guys to let you guys in on a little bit of like what's happened to me behind the scenes. Just happened. So you know what? It happens. So it's okay. Got to move on, right? Dust yourself off, rip the Band-Aid off sometimes, that way there you can start healing. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. If you guys want to join us in the academy, where we will support you, we will be there throughout 2021. So with this way here, we can help really hold you accountable, but also give you the right training that you need when you need it. And like I said, all that support that comes with it. Head on over to brandcreatorsacademy.com, fill out an application. It'll take you literally probably 5, maybe 7 minutes. And then from there, we will be able to reach out to you and let you know if right now is the time for you or not. And we'll be doing those private invites here over the next month. So go ahead, brandcreatorsacademy.com if you're interested. We'd love to have you. And yeah, I really want to help you in 2021. So let's do this. All right, guys, take care, take action, and I'll see you on Friday. All right, guys, take care.